Welcome to Two Fuse Wrestling. For this fantasy booking edition, we're going to get our Dana White on, and we're going to find out what UFC star, MMA star can transfer to WWE, the wrestling world. So, who do you got transferring from MMA to WWE?
Well, for me, in the history of the UFC, there's probably only two guys that, other than like Ken Shamrock, Dan Severn, I guess Rousey, but Rousey didn't have no other choice because she was getting worked in all her fights. The only two guys I saw that could have transitioned to wrestling and done really good and made a lot of money. One of them's no longer with us. R.I.P. Kimbo Slice. Kimbo Slice would have been incredible in professional wrestling. That's my dude. I always get, if I play UFC online, I pick Kimbo Slice. Like, win or lose, I'm Kimbo Slice. Would have been great. The second pick, obviously, the biggest UFC star in history, Conor McGregor. So the kind of idea I came up with, again, centers around Judgment Day. With the success of Clash at the Castle last year, and then they're going back to the UK for Money in the Bank this year, I thought it would be cool if they did a pay-per-view in Ireland. And with Finn Balor, again, if you had Cody Rhodes as your champion, maybe Finn Balor gets a title shot in Ireland against Cody Rhodes. And then you could do the Tyson thing where you need an enforcer to keep Judgment Day at bay. You bring in Conor McGregor. So right there you got a huge Irish wrestling star in Balor, and then you got the biggest Irish star in all of sports, Conor McGregor, acting as the enforcer. So during the match, I would have, a bunch of shenanigans, whatever's going on, but have Damian Priest get involved. Say they knock out the original ref, they drop Cody. Priest is trying to force Conor to make the count. Conor won't do it. He drops Priest. And then he gets in the ring, faces off with Balor, shoves Balor right into the finish of Cody's. Then counts the 3 for Cody. So that's your Tyson Austin moment at WrestleMania 14. But then from there, maybe you go into SummerSlam or Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, your next big pay-per-view. You could do Priest and Balor against Cody and Conor, and I figured that works. Because Cody and Priest have both worked with outsiders before. Cody had Stephen Amell in a tag match before. Priest worked with Bad Bunny. And then you have the Irish thing with Balor and McGregor. And then also Balor's small enough for McGregor to kind of manhandle and do some stuff with. So I wouldn't expect Conor to do a long run. I wouldn't expect him to do a bunch of matches. But maybe you can get one or two big moments out of him. And then if you do, like I said, start it in Ireland and then do a big arena show over here, I think that's like box office draw written all over it. And then it gets the other three guys the mainstream rub, because there's been a lot of mainstream stuff in wrestling. But I think McGregor, especially now, that would get a lot of eyes on WWE and all the guys involved in the match.
Yeah, I was worried when you mentioned Conor, but pairing him with someone like Finn, it would work because Finn can take care of him.
And then, Finn's a veteran, Cody's a veteran, so you have guys there that could kind of talk him through it as it's going and kind of make sure he's where he's supposed to be. If you look at WrestleMania 34, when it was Rousey and Angle against Triple H and Stephanie, if you pay attention, Triple H is pretty much like telling 3 other people where to be and where to go and what to do. And I think Cody and Finn could kind of do that with Conor, kind of help him through it and make him look really good.
I love Cody getting any more mainstream attention, so I'd be for that too. And if Finn just getting a big program like that would be awesome. He's well deserving.
I think, he's definitely deserving of that.
And then Conor I would feel like jump on it, not even just for the money, but he supposedly loves Mike Tyson, and this is like, hey.
Yeah, this is kind of a shout out to Tyson, kind of a throwback Tyson moment.
Yeah. So for me, the MMA person I went with is I don't like when famous celebrities show up in wrestling for a payday and they don't want to do the work. So I went with Paige VanZant. So I feel like the men would have to come into it. Like, you had this short run with Conor, so it works. But I'm looking for someone long term.
Yeah.
So she can come in and probably be probably the second most famous woman right then and there. She shows commitment. I mean, she's 8-5 MMA and 0-2 bare knuckle fighting. Like when she commits to something, she just doesn't give up. So she's gonna learn her wrestling moves. She's gonna put in the effort. She's gonna put in the time. She's an attractive lady. She already has a shit ton of fans on Instagram, OnlyFans. So she's gonna bring eyeballs, and she's not gonna be disrespectful to the backstage environment. Like she's gonna come in, I feel like, and want to be a team player. Like she's not gonna big time people, even though she is big time. I know whenever I said second biggest star, what female wrestlers would you put ahead of her? Like I feel like maybe just like famous wise, just Becky Lynch.
Like mainstream wise?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean you'd have to say Becky and then
Charlotte?
Rousey. I mean Rousey.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah,
Rousey's still a big name.
Yeah, that is a huge name.
But I don't know about Charlotte. Charlotte's like big in wrestling. I don't know about the
mainstream,
the kind of mainstream appeal.
Yeah, that's true. I totally forgot about Rousey. Since everyone's been hating her lately, I forget that she's actually pretty cool mainstream wise.
Yeah.
The other name I really wanted to do is Francis Ngannou during the Apollo Crews Nigerian Prince thing.
Yeah.
I can't think of who Apollo's muscle was at that time.
That Aziz dude, Commander Aziz.
So instead of Aziz, I just thought it would be cool if Apollo was just talking mad shit to people all the time, and then Brock Lesnar gets in his face, and then he's just like, oh, you don't want my bodyguard to come, and then his bodyguard's Ngannou just for a one-off.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, that would have been like, I mean, Cruz is really cool, so like I wish they would have did a little bit more, and like if his bodyguard's Francis Ngannou, that would have been fucking nuts.
Before we went on air, you told me about Ngannou, and I think if they had a stable to go against him, he could fit in really well with the Hurt business. Like if they say they were going into a War Games or something and they needed another guy, if you brought him in and you had him and Lashley and Benjamin and Alexander and someone else with MVP doing all the talking, I think that could work like really well. I think Ngannou, like if Lesnar had a faction to go against Lashley's Hurt business, you bring in Ngannou to kind of like throw off Lesnar. So you got Lesnar, former UFC heavyweight champion, and then Ngannou, who never lost the UFC heavyweight title.
And yeah, Ngannou's just
I think he would need someone to talk for him.
Yeah, I did, when I was looking up this, I did see that he recently learned English within the last probably 5 years. So
not even like the English issue, just I don't see the personality there, if that makes any sense. Like you can see some UFC fighters have that personality.
All to sell?
Yeah. Ngannou's like that, one-hitter quitter type thing. It's not, he does all his talking with his hands. He doesn't have to, that was his appeal. He didn't have to have the personality.
He just reminds me of, Overeem. This guy that just looks like a fucking superhero.
Yeah,
like, so
a monster.
I feel like it just translates to WWE really well, and I just liked it with Cruz for the fact that I think most people agree Cruz could be pushed better, maybe, or
I think it's just better. It's like all the tools are somewhat there. It's just missing something. Working with Carmelo and Braun and NXT's been good, but then it's missing something. And
like what I thought with the Waller feud it missed is Waller called him out for the accent.
Yeah,
and I don't really like when they bring that up. Like,
well, yeah, I mean,
I get why they do it, but it's also like it's like a poking fun at
gimmicks
Vince.
change, so it's kind of like not even Vince, but gimmicks change, so it's not fair to
Cruz. I feel like you're doing him a disservice where Waller's like, haha.
Yeah.
It's
but like he can come back from that because they made Kofi Kingston talk like a Jamaican.
For years,
and
I feel like.
He ended up being WWE champion.
Yeah, that's true. So maybe they will eventually do something with Cruz to the point. I mean, I definitely think, I'm not saying you have to make him a WWE champion, but if NXT.
Like your idea, if he had a big match coming up, like say he had that match with Big E, and he brought in new muscle, and it was Francis Ngannou for one match. I mean, that would have been a big.
That would have given him a rub for the rest of his life, in essence.
Yeah.
Like they were like, "Oh, this guy's serious." He brought in Francis Ngannou instead of Commander C's, who I don't even know if I haven't seen Commander C's in WWE in a while. I feel
he just was on he attacked Apollo on the NXT.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna do something with them too.
Yeah, they're gonna fight, which is bad for Apollo because I don't think that Aziz guy works too well. So
Yeah, he probably should get. I mean, NXT has people he could feud with too, other than
him and Carmelo, I was excited for their 2 out of 3 falls. Sadly, it just went 2 falls, but that Commander guy screwed him over. But to go back to your Paige VanZant, who would you have her work with?
Oh, I would have her work every week.
No, like with everybody, because I feel like she would need to be kind of
Carried at first.
yeah. I think Rousey had like a grappling background, and I feel like she was a wrestling fan, so I think she picked it up better than most people would.
Yeah, I just feel like with Paige, like when I was talking about her record, I feel like she would show up to practice every day at the Deaf
Yeah.
Elemental Center. Like
Yeah.
she's gonna commit, so I feel like she'd be okay. And I think every week utilize her, and that gives a lot of eyeballs to the product
Yeah, I just feel like she would need like a Charlotte
to
or
carry
a
her at
Becky
first.
or yeah.
Yeah, probably at first. Yeah. Also, yeah, that would make sense too to bring her in on a big feud right away.
Yeah, keep her out of that AEW women's thing.
Yeah, I don't think she's
Get
going
hurt
back
in
there. Yeah. Dude, Mike Tyson recently said he would rather go to WWE for no money than work with AEW
Well,
again.
he just knows. You know?
All right. In the comments, let us know what MMA star you would book to transition to wrestling.